small team from North Spore took a trip to the West Coast and visited 4 commercial mushroom farms. The mushroom industry has always benefited from collaboration and information exchange. It's a tight-knit community filled with people who like to see each other thrive. North Spore was invited to California by our friends Kyle and Aaron, who run Far West Fungi, to learn more about the automation equipment they run for mixing and bagging sawdust substrate.
Hey everybody, welcome. This is our farm in Moss Landing, California. My name is Kyle Groney, and this is our site for Far West Fungi mushroom production.
Kyle grows 25,000 pounds of fresh mushrooms every week at his farm in Moss Landing, California. At Far West, growing oyster mushrooms starts with shredding bales of straw, and then loading the chopped straw into a cargo container turned steam chamber to heat pasteurize it over the course of several days. With this technique, they can pasteurize massive quantities of straw at a time. This process both pasteurizes and hydrates the straw. Once pasteurized, the straw is unloaded, mixed with spawn, and machine bagged. Once the bags are fully incubated and colonized, they're transferred to a fruit room. Due to the mild coastal California temperatures in Moss Landing, they don't need special cooling or heating units in their rooms. A big savings in energy costs when compared to the heating and cooling intensive rooms we used for growing mushrooms in New England. Kyle guides us to the sawdust production room, which is what we came here to see. We've since ordered one of these machines and set up a similar mixing and bagging line like this one at North Spore. These are 2 inline mixers. One mixer is constantly being filled with substrate. That second mixer has an auger feeding another mixer. There's a diffuser there that's going into 2 augers, and then each one of those augers feeds into an individual bagging machine. These bagging machines are fully automated. They have a stack of bags. They open the bag, fill the bag, and then put it out on a conveyor. You can see how fast these guys are folding the bags. It's really impressive. And then they're putting them on these carts, which are about to be rolled out. The whole end of this building doesn't even have a door because of the mild temperatures. It's being rolled across an open concrete slab, kind of an outdoor mushroom farm area, and then rolled into large retorts running at atmospheric pressure.
We'll cook them for 4 hours and something, depending on what I've done on probes and testing. This one's about 5 hours just because it's bigger and we hold more. These ones are about 4 hours and like 15 minutes. It's a really simple system. We don't have any controls on them. Basically, we're just constantly venting a little bit to get any air out the whole process. So they're always no pulses, just venting the whole time. So it's like called like ruffling, which is basically like you're always having steam moving through, so you shouldn't have any air pockets.
The inoculation process happens inside a laboratory space on a conveyor. The bags are top spawned. It's a lot faster to top spawn, and the bags put off less heat as they colonize. At North Spore, we shake our spawn in substrates because the colonization rate is faster, but it's more exothermic, meaning it puts off heat as the mycelium colonizes the substrate, and it's more labor intensive. Since Far West doesn't have any cooling systems in their incubation rooms, they're unable to shake their inoculated substrate and speed up that colonization time. If they did, they might overheat their incubation rooms and kill off the growing mycelium. This is a giant operation, which requires a lot of space for incubation. Far West makes up with space what they're losing out on in speed on colonization, and overall, it's less labor intensive. We end our tour of Far West Fungi by visiting their fruiting rooms. These mushrooms are looking beautiful. The shelving is electrical conduit and metal framing studs, which is a cool, simple system for racking. All the mushrooms that are grown on this farm go through this room. Here you can see this shiitake sorting machine. It's basically a conveyor with different sized holes in it, so they're able to sort different sizes of shiitake mushrooms. These are going out to between 20 and 26 farmers markets every week, and they also sell mushrooms directly to restaurant chains and grocery stores. These mushrooms are some of the best looking we've seen. Far West Fungi is definitely an industry leader in diversified mushroom cultivation.
My name is Amir Carrion from Monterey Mushrooms. We're here in California at our Amicel facility where we produce mushroom spawn for farmers around the world. We're about to take a tour with the North Spore guys.
Amicel is the largest spawn producer in the world. This is actually the smallest of their facilities. Unfortunately, what you're seeing is all we were allowed to film.
So Monterey Mushrooms is the whole parent organization.
Okay, yeah.
That's a family company. It's actually my uncle that founded it. Then Amicel is technically a separate entity, just a spawn entity, but it's all under the Monterey Mushrooms umbrella.
Got it.
80% of our product is millet based here, and then we produce a casing layer inoculum as well, which we call pack. And then we also make a grainless synthetic spawn. And that is a product that most farms that are in more humid climates prefer, because green mold trichoderma is a big issue. So any way we can reduce that carbohydrate load with a grainless spawn is beneficial. So our elevator system kind of pulls from the silo of our choosing. It'll clean it through a grain cleaning system. It's already pretty clean. We just kind of take out any residual. And then we pump that grain up to our cooking vessels that are at the top of our tower, which we'll go take a look at after this too.
What we couldn't show you in this video is actually quite impressive. The facility has 2 large autoclaves. One of them was a mixing autoclave that was at the top of a 4-story tower. It looked like something out of a 1950s science fiction film. The whole system used gravity to move the grain from the autoclave at the top of the tower to the bottom conveyor where the spawn bags are stacked and moved to incubation.
This is 100% the most consistent product or input at the farm level. You know, compared to compost production, this is so much more consistent. And if anything goes wrong, they always blame spawn.
Yeah.
My name is Chris Chavez, and we're on Gilroy, California. The name of the company is called Global Mushroom Farm.
North Spore works with hundreds of varieties and species of mushrooms, but one species almost completely out of our wheelhouse is the common button mushroom and portobello mushroom, Agaricus bisporus. This is why we jumped at the last-minute opportunity to visit a traditional button mushroom farm called Global Mushrooms.
Here's the peat mass, the casing layer to hold the water. The food source is on here, on the compost.
This farm produces around 120,000 pounds of Agaricus mushrooms every week, which is significantly more mushrooms than we saw at Far West Fungi. The amount of substrate and fruiting mushrooms that fit inside of this facility is possible due to their 6-tier racking system that uses conveyors to load fresh substrate and remove it once it's finished fruiting.
And then when you start seeing that thing on the surface, it's time then you open the air so they can breathe.
Right.
If you don't do that, the mushroom will still grow a little bit, but not very few, because they will die because they need air just like us.
Right.
So you open there. You have a vent outside where you open.
There's no bagging involved in this process. Unlike the mushroom production North Spore and Far West Fungi practice that draw on techniques developed in East Asia, the mushrooms in an Agaricus farm thrive on composted non-sterile substrates. This is a mushroom cultivation technique the US imported from the French in the mid-1800s. It's incredible to see just how productive this cultivation technique is. It's no question why Agaricus farms continue to be the dominant style of mushroom farm in the Americas.
How many pounds of spawn do you say you go through a week?
See, we go through like that's
Or how many
thousands,
bags? I don't know.
Boxes.
Boxes.
We buy about a week, maybe about 3 pallets.
3 pallets of spawn.
Yeah.
Like
From
6,000 pounds.
something like that, probably, yeah. Most of them have moved to like non-animal based material, because then it's better for your food safety system. You don't have to go animal byproducts in the raw material. It's a lot safer in that way, and so that's why they've moved more towards like high nitrogen, like soybean meal or cottonseed meal or whatever. Some really fast energy.
Hey, I'm Justin Reyes, the National Sales and Marketing Manager for Gourmet Mushrooms, and this is our farm. I look forward to showing you around. So I like to walk people around the building and start back here, because it's the beginning and end of the process. So end of the process being harvested bottles that are, this one was our Trumpet Royale. You can tell just from the remnants in there. So it's a plastic, non-reactive polypropylene, and filled with our substrate, the mycelium in there, of course. There's all kind of the white, and it's already been harvested. So all these trays, we grow in 16 bottles per tray. We measure ounces per bottle, so really easy conversion to pounds per tray, with that multiplier of 16, of course. So once the mushrooms have been harvested, they come out of our growing rooms, our harvest rooms, out here to be emptied. So they get stacked up on pallets and prepped to go through a machine that's going to basically grab on to each tray, each bottle, flip it upside down, and send a drill bit up inside there and auger out the inside. Yeah, just like this goes onto a cart with wheels on it, and that gets pushed into here with this door open. We fill that, close it, lock it down, and we're going to use steam and pressure to generate full sterilization temperature, hold it there. Of course, we're really data intensive, so all of the temp logs, all that stuff gets tracked. As you guys know, the growing process can be months from when you inoculate to when you harvest. So like trying to think back of, oh, what did I do differently on that batch that might have increased or decreased yield, you're not going to remember because you've done a bunch of batches since then. So by tracking all that data, we're able to kind of see what we're doing. We're not going to be able to see it. They do all the seeding in the morning, but so we did skip that step. But basically now we're in our incubation room where everything's been sterilized, and then all the bottles have been inoculated. You can see these ones are fully myceliated, fully colonized in the bottle. So these are our next batch. Basically, these are ready to go into our harvest rooms. These are Alba clamshell variety. Hypsogizes tessellatus is the species on that one. And yeah, so these have been here the longest too. They've been here about 3 months. So like the Mycopia, for example, is pretty fast. A little over a month. These ones are 3 months. And they all get incubated in here. We are one of the largest producers of specialty mushrooms in the country. Of course, specialty mushrooms are just a tiny fraction of the button mushroom industry, but growing quickly. I think the historic trends for the last decade of button mushrooms is about 3 to 5% annual growth, whereas specialty mushrooms, which would include wilds, is double digits. It's like 12 to 15% every year. So we're having a hard time even just keeping up at this point. We're looking for expansion right now. This year we are expanding our production capacity, so it's exciting. We're developing all those plans, finalizing those plans right now. We have close to 1 million bottles here in our California farm, all in different stages. So waiting to be emptied, empty waiting to be filled, in here incubating, or in our harvest rooms, close to 1 million bottles.
How many reuses do you get out of the bottle?
So here, as the bottles come out to go to the harvest rooms, they go through a Kinkaki machine. Kinkaki in Japanese translates loosely to seed scrape or seed scratch. Of course, the bottle technique, the growing method, was developed in Japan.
And the tops are removed before it goes in this machine.
So when the pallets come out ready to go in the harvest rooms to grow out and fruit, they come through here. The lids come out the chute, wow. And they go into a thing to get wheeled back around outside, and then the trays get like flipped upside down, and a blade comes up and like scrapes away that top layer off the bottle to really to shape it, which in doing so really helps define the way the cluster is going to come out, the mushroom cluster. So different blade for different mushrooms to designate how we want the cluster to form, basically. People, they want high quality. Quality is really one of our defining things for us as well. So that's going to help maximize our quality and really consistent product too. We sell to a lot of fine chefs. High-end chefs, they want their plates to come out the same every time for appearance, for flavor, all that stuff. Then they're going to go into one of our growing rooms. Again, we have some growing rooms in the other facilities.
Being one of the most difficult edible mushrooms to successfully cultivate, Mycopia grows their maitake in bags rather than in bottles.
But again, quality is one of our defining things, and consistency. So, if it doesn't meet our quality, then we're going to they'll be like our number 2, which doesn't happen that often, but it's a slightly lower priced product in that sense.
These king trumpets are incredibly consistent. We're not seeing any orange-colored blotch, a scourge of king growers. Just pristine caps and stems, all uniform in size and shape.
So once they get harvested, they go to folks like you guys.
Most of the packaging is automated. The machine places plastic tops and stickers on the containers before they're cased and ready for shipment. This trip was incredibly informative, and I want to thank all of the mushroom farms that welcomed us to their facilities. This was an eye-opening trip that put our own business into perspective, the strengths and weaknesses of Spore, and how we can continue to grow and innovate into the future.